Welcome back to the oh my god, what am I doing with my life game of how do I figure some of these things out. Blah. Okay, so both of these couples had kids. I'm hopefully right about where I think they are. Yeah, because James is the only star left in that area that isn't Carl. And this is the divorced guy that wouldn't know his dad, so presumably Will Boy is actually Clark? Or maybe they had like another name. Chris or Jacob Rafferty. I could check both those names just in case. I'm so bad at remembering names. Oh my god. I literally just immediately forget what I was just saying. Rafferty, Chris, and Jacob. Nope. The word Rafferty doesn't even really get anything. Alright. They said that this doesn't come up with anything either. Yeah, no, it just leads back to the page I'm already on. Okie dokie. These times. Leads back to here. But we could go look at Music Monthly and check out these times there. A section of the magazine called Skip It or Flip It has short, pithy blurbs about new records. An album called These Times is listed under Skip It column with the following. These Times, a new single from C&J and J&D, Clark Rafferty, Jim Roottree, and two of the Roottree Sisters. Oh, two of them. Okay, so maybe Clark slept with a third sister, like I suggested at one point. Amateurish folk-style songwriting is catchy at times, but ultimately doesn't do anything new. They like to group women. The LaRue sisters, the Roottree Sisters. Just not naming them individually, even when they fucking died in a plane crash. Like, oh, we don't need to name them individually. Alright, not much to get from that, necessarily. It's almost like it's just there for, like, thoroughness, since it should be there. Or anything else to get out of this? I assume I already looked up Diamond LaRue. Jim and Diamond. Well, I've definitely been on this page before. The fans refer to them as Diamond's Dazzlers. That actually might be a fan group that has its own page. Oh, here we go. Diamond's Dazzlers is the name of an official fan club for Jim and Diamond. You find a forum post called Cool Things You Got in the Mail on a random forum about video games. One reply mentions that Jim and Diamond still send out Christmas card every year to Diamond's Dazzlers. It's accompanied by some pictures as well as some history about the fan club. Apparently, even though it's no longer available to join, Jim and Diamond still honor it themselves personally. There is a fierce debate in the subsequent posts about whether that's cool or pathetic. Oh. That's not nice. Amongst the pictures of Christmas cards over the years, only one is relevant. The card from 1996 includes pictures of Jim and Diamond's young son, Wolf, as well as a note about his daughter's band, the Fluzis. Picture's been added to your evidence. Okay, well that's really relevant then. That's helpful for finding out more of these people. Just some picture of Wolf on his face. Sent in 1996, 2 years ago. The description said it included a picture of his son Wolf listening to his parents' latest music. He looks like a little kid. And granted, I've been wrong about that since the day one on this game, so who knows. But he's at home, so he's probably the younger kid. And the sister is also a musician. That's relevant. Alright, so let's type Wolf. Wolf Roottree. And then some sister who's a musician. You are, I'm gonna say, student? Because you're a kid, I think. It's fucking hard to tell, you know? Like, how old are these people? I mean, they're drawn, too. This one in particular looks like a tiny dweeby kid. They also give Hanson vibes. I guess you can be an underage model, but that's just weird. But that's the world we live in. I don't think she was named, but we have the Fluzis, so that probably will name who's in the Fluzis. The Fluzis are an all-female punk band operated out of New York City. They're mentioned in passing an online review from earlier this year that also it's music, so we can look up the Fluzis in the periodicals. They're mentioned in passing in an online review from earlier this year. Apparently they were in the opening act for the band the reviewer actually came to see. The reviewer writes that she normally doesn't review the opening act, but this one was unusual, and not because of the music, which she described as loud, fast, and repetitive, but not in a good way. The trio was extremely cagey about their identities. Great. Thanks. The reviewer asked the venue who they were, and she told them they were rumored to be the children of other famous musicians, but didn't want that to be why they became popular. Asked the venue. Okay, I was like, that's a weird way for them to describe themselves, but no, the venue said that. The reviewer also mentioned that for an underground and unknown band with absolutely no following, their equipment was all extremely expensive, and not only were they selling CDs, they only cost $1. They're probably losing a fortune. The reviewer said that although she bought a copy, she would be unlikely to ever listen to any of it again, except maybe Beef Baby, the 7th track. There's no picture of the Fluzis performing live, but the cover of the CD they were selling, Conquistador, has been added to your evidence. Interesting. See, Diamonds, Dazzlers. I feel like I should add this in here. Clark, Jim. Highlight. There we go. And get back to the Fluzis. For an underground and unknown band, I'm just going to include the kids in Jim's page, basically. For an underground and unknown band with absolutely no following, their equipment is extremely expensive, which suggests that they do have like a rich background boosting them up here that they didn't really have to earn. Conquistador. That's got to be her, right? The Fluzis. Guitar and vocals, Candy. Bass, Nikki. Drums, Nina. But are any of those their real names? Candy, Nikki, and Nina. I do think Candy was a real name on the list earlier. Ah. Oh, God. Not good at switching to keyboard. And when I'm not just continuously typing. So Candy, Roottree. Oh, there we go. And that's the threshold for the next bit of story, I think. Okay, so I'm wrong somewhere with the other people. Oh, I was right about the... Yep. So they were right. So it's possible I'm wrong about where to even put the other guys. Or I'm wrong about their job or something. But the related entry didn't get locked in either.
You're on a roll. I'll try to keep that momentum going. Carl's office was a mess, thanks to some burst pipes. But I unearthed a photo from a 1970s Roottree reunion. I also found some important-looking papers. You've traced 9 blood relatives so far. I'll have more to share after you find 9 more.
It's weird when they say the number 9 as a number instead of a word. It's a single-digit number. You don't write those that way. People would say like, "Oh, it's because the game is trying to reference the variable of how many you've done so far." But I'm like, they could just write the word. They could just write out the word number, the words 1 through 9. Okay, so now we're looking for twice as many, 18, which is an even bigger deal because she gave us the goal of 9 after the tutorial, so it was only like a goal of 6. Now it's a goal of 9, so it's going to be a bit of a hike. But we have a lot more all of a sudden. Let's see. The story's been updated. After some time, they returned with a new resource. A photo of Carl's generation taken in the mid to late 1970s, as well as some papers and mail from his office. They said that they had a bit more to share after 9 more blood relatives. Who dat? Is that 2 of the sisters? Shiva candle. This photo was tucked inside an envelope with a letter beneath a candle in the corner of his office. The letter says, "To Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry that you were unable to attend the funeral. It's traditional to have it as soon as possible, and Ernie, more than anyone else on Earth, knew how busy your job can be. I've enclosed a Shiva candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay your respects, though it's not expected for those outside of the faith to do so." A Shiva candle? I don't know what faith this is. I don't know what this is. Ernie was a man full of love. Not only for this is Ernie's death, not the kid's death. So, because these are 2 of the sisters, aren't they? Or they were there for the death? No. There's so many similar cartoon blonde girls. She looks really young. But is this older? I think a year, so well, I'll keep reading to see what if more context comes up anyway. Ernie was a man full of love, not only for his family, but for his family's legacy. He had an immense amount of pride for the work you 3 did together, as well as how Carl has carried on for him after taking over. As for myself, it is impossible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of endless bills. Though we caught it too late for him to get on the donor list, the company took care of us beyond our wildest expectations. It went unsaid at the time, but Ernie and I knew it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust, and that it was no coincidence that it happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Is that a photo of Brenda? Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We could never have done that without the 2 of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie. Okay, so this is Debbie and Nicole. I know they're a family, but everyone looks the same. Katrina. I mean, you see what I mean? Where, like, these look like photos of the same people, almost. Which also look like... Oh, my God. I know they're a family, but oh my God, it looks like the same people over and over again. That guy's hair. Jeez. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Here's a bonus. When I pulled the water damaged picture of the free spirits out of the frame, this fell out too. Written on the back of the photo, couldn't make the reunion, wishing you all the best from Paris, Gwyn and the boys. From Paris. Two blonde boys. Okay. Gwyn Roottree and her sons. Is one of them Clark? So they're both boys. One of them married, one of them didn't. Film school. Is that Clark? Do they have any identifiable traits that you would be able to identify at that kind of age difference? He has brown hair. Have I just completely misplaced these people? I might be completely wrong about where these people go. 'Cause I think I have them pretty figured out. But the only other place it would fit is like here? That's someone who has married and has 2 kids at this generation? But like, why would they never have met their father? I mean, I guess you could just marry somebody and then never meet your father. Maybe they died? Because he died. Is it the father that died Here? It alternatively was his father Ernie, who died of cancer, which would mean his mother is Debit and his sister Nicole. Wait, oops. His mother is Debbie and his sister's Nicole. That might be the alternative. Add far left of tree question mark. I could be completely misplacing them. Because yeah, they never divorced. He just died. That could easily be the reason. So I could transplant all that information over there. Because I think, unless I'm just wrong about their apparent ages, he should be the same generation as James. Yeah, they're like the same age in the pictures. They're probably the same number of generations displaced from the founders. And no one else here has that many kids. I don't want to just be guessing necessarily though. Like I just genuinely thought I was right about this part. But she seems to have 2 blonde kids. So let's see if I can find the names of her kids. If I can find them both and they're not Clark, then that means that I'm right to move them over there. Does kid not count? Oh, okay. I clicked on the wrong spot. Is that everybody? 1, 2, 3. Getting higher and higher pitched like it's a Peggle. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Every 20 or so years, the Rootrees would hold a big reunion and recreate an old family photo. This is the one from the 70s, and Carl's the teenager in the middle. Sorry about the water damage. A pipe burst in Carl's office. On the back of the photo, in childish print writing, it says November. There are also a large number of cursive signatures. They include Bonnie, next President Guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Carolyn, Gwyneth M., Gwendolyn, Miracle Jr., Jim Roottree, Clark, Carl, and Eli M. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Does the kid not count? Because if we exclude the kid, then there's 11 faces and 11 signatures. But they're not in the right order anyway. Clark, Carl, and Eli M. Clark, Carl, and Eli M. So yeah, they're not in an order. Carl's the teenager in the middle. So you're in the middle, right? So I guess we have a face for Carl finally. We have a lot of faces to look at too. So that is the father of all these models. He kind of looks like a model. Granted, if you paint people like this, they're all going to come out really looking pretty anyway. So we have James, Clark, and Carl already in this generation, and that might be, and let's see, how many people in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 people are arguably this generation, if that's what that means. So it's not everybody. And I don't know if she counts. Miracle Jr. is a wild name. Oh, Eli. Thank you. Thank you, Eli, for just having your name on your chest. Otherwise, we mostly just have like gender to go by. I wonder if I can even identify the people that I already know. Like this guy. Who I already forgot the name of in 5 seconds. Jim Roottree. Do I think I know which one's Jim? Probably that guy. That's probably Jim Roottree. Because he looks like that here. I hope. Yeah, it's the same guy, right? He's not angled right for me to see his mole, which is really helpful. Stuff like that is so helpful in a family of people that look so similar. Admittedly, they don't look that similar in this picture. So Eli... Are these the boys? Are these the boys of what we have heard of? Oops, ah. Are those the same boys? They're the right generation, right? Technically not confirmation that they're not Clark. But Clark is in this picture. Clark and Carl are both in this picture. That's not him. Is that Clark? With the sideburns? Is that Clark with the glasses? That might be Clark. He does wear... Is that the deciding factor? Is that he wears glasses? He doesn't wear glasses. I'm wrong about that part. Got 2 big goofy front teeth. That's not helpful, is it? Are the teeth consistent? Can't really see teeth that clearly. Maybe he's wearing contacts. Maybe he's one of these people, Clark. That Clark. We go back to here. This is Jim, so that's Clark. Clark had a beard in this picture. Still had brown hair. So we're looking at someone with brown hair. Is this like this Mr. Smolder back there? Is that what Clark looked like? Did he grow his hair out? I feel like an idiot. I feel like I have face blindness when I'm playing this game. I'm just like, how do I associate any of these people with each other? Oh, I see the resemblance. Yeah, you do have skin. Let's see. Vote for Stephanie Jones for City Council. Better for Butler County. This was buried under a ton of other mail that Carl left in his inbox. It was a handwritten note. It had a handwritten note attached that seemed personal. It's a flyer about a candidate for a local office, Stephanie Jones. On the back is an excerpt from a newspaper article from Butler County Times about her campaign. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least, but in her words, it was still full of love. And now, 22 years later, with a baby of her own due around Christmas, her message for voters is simply, love is our future. The handwritten note says, Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let our conflict spread to the next generation. CM. Clark? Do we know the names of the daughters? Also, it's not CM because it's... Yeah. So Clark's daughters are named Jessica and Katrina. And it's CR. CM. I assume it's somebody of their generation. Clark, Carl. Carolyn? He doesn't have to be a dude. Next President Guy Hudson. What a name to go with. Carolyn M. Who had a daughter, I think, named Stephanie. I'm even sitting here going like parent CM. Parent or spouse? It's not a great lead so far. Don't let our conflict spread to the next generation. So Stephanie has a parent, CM, or is CM spouse? Let's see. No, I'm gonna go as parent. They specifically say don't let our conflict spread to the next generation. Something's up there. This guy is Stephanie's husband or something. But somewhere here in the bottom generation somewhere. Like these two. No. Somebody whose husband probably doesn't matter. Could be here. Could be this one. Or this one. Because they're married to somebody. I assume they're married. They don't have to be married technically. Or this one? That's too high though. That's the higher generation. It's probably one of the ones that's way down here. This one is so much lower, it almost suggests that it's like a much later age than the other ones. That would be really young potentially, so I think it might be here. But that's just kind of a leap right now that we don't have a lot of context for. Huh. Dear God, what am I gonna poke at on this mess now? We legitimately have a lot of these now. Like, do they even all fit on the screen anymore? I'm not sure. Oh, is this also a listenable album? No, it's not. Okay. I'm like, don't do this to me. Conquistador. Are you sure you want to co-opt that specific culture? Is that yours? I think I can't get any more information out of this. And that's candy, so I guess that's it. The fact that we have 3 albums. Oh yeah, I can look at the Fluzis and the music thingy. Beef Baby! Getting a lot of use of this thing. No! The Fluzis. Nope, no mention of the Fluzis in Music Monthly. They're just not good enough. They're mentioning an online review, but not an online review that's named by, like, given a name. So I guess it not having a name means we can't look it up. Conquistador. Surprised that doesn't come up either. Okay. Search on the internet. That brings back the same page. Beef Baby. Beef Baby is a song by the Fluzis. You can't actually find anything else about it anywhere, but with a name like that, it's hard not to speculate on the subject matter, isn't it? Could it be euphemism? It's about a newborn cow. Perhaps the Fluzis are holding a grudge against a toddler. Baby beef. It certainly piques your interest. If only had the time for a resource to look into it further. What do you mean? That's all I'm doing. That might be as far as we're gonna go with Beef Baby. A normal sentence that I'm saying out loud. Yeah, I'm not gonna find anything about Wolf Roottree online because this is not an era where everyone had an online presence. Stephanie Jones should have an online presence though. running for government. You learned from an election results page that Stephanie Jones, a candidate for city council, won her campaign on election day about a month ago. So very recent. That's what she looks like now, basically. You find no mention. Oh yeah, she looks bigger because she's probably still. I think the timeline is that she's still pregnant because it's only the 6th of December right now. You find no mention of the Roottrees in any articles about her. Stephanie also has a very bare bones website for her campaign. It's simply a picture of her campaign mailer, and underneath it says, "Be sure to read the full article in the Butler County Times." Okay, this is all technically Stephanie stuff. And jam it in the Stephanie page. We also specifically want to look up the Butler County Times. There we go. Now we've added the Butler County Times, a third periodical. The most recent mention of Stephanie Jones is a small report detailing the election results from last month's election. Stephanie apparently won her election. You also find the full version of the newspaper clipping on the back of the campaign mailer. While most of it is unimportant, you do find the following. Stephanie Jones, born Stephanie Landon, until her marriage to local business owner Brian Jones, has lived in Butler County her whole life. That's just all naming stuff that's important. Stephanie grew up in a home without a father. With my mother and her partner, I essentially had an entirely female influence. Separately important. Oops, bad at highlighting these things. So we had an unmarried gay partner. So she's from a divorce. I assume they can't be married anyway. Though she's a distant cousin of the Roottrees, her mother Carolyn CM. So I was right about that part. A local artist who had appeared in the front page of the Butler County Times in the past, has often come out opposed to the corporation's policies regarding deforestation and indigenous trees to expand their maple farms. Unlike my mother, I'm not a fighter. I want to bring love to the world. Also worth noting. And I'm just like kind of highlighting all of it, but okay, so her mother is Carolyn. So mother Carolyn, who has a female partner. But how do you know which one is Carolyn on the tree? Because I've already probably misplaced one person. But we'll look up Carolyn in here too. Not Carolyn Roottrees. Carolyn. There are apparently a lot of people named Carolyn that have been reported over the years. Perhaps you need to refine your search. Oh, Carolyn Jones? I keep typing Roottrees with an S. What's wrong with me? Okay, Stephanie Jones. Oh, Carolyn Landon. Right. Butler County Times. She's been on the front page before. Carolyn. Though she's a distant cousin of the Roottree. Her mother, Carolyn, a local artist. What's her name? CM. Carolyn is CM. Carolyn Morden. So Carolyn Morden married someone named Landon. Oh my god. Stop adding letters. Hey, we got a picture. You find a cover story about local art installations, including one by Carolyn Morden. There isn't much about Carolyn as a person. This is mostly a listing of art in Butler County. She seems to get top billing. Accompanying the story, there's an image of Carolyn standing beside a large metal sculpture of a mermaid. It is captioned, "Carolyn standing next to her sculpture, Atlantis Burden." This sculpture is one of many works featured in her upcoming book, Self-Portrait Art and the Beauty of Women. Okay, we have a name to look into now. According to a quote further down, Atlantis Burden is meant to symbolize a society split by indecision over whether women should be equals or something to protect. The picture on the front page has been added for your evidence. Yeah. Okay, so Carolyn Morden. Library. Published in 1987, softcover large art photography sculpture dedicated to Elias and Stephanie. Elias and Stephanie. Okay, so her sister's name Eloise is the reason of... Could be her partner. The people you dedicate to don't have to be the same tier of family as each other. I'm just kind of putting Carolyn and Stephanie in here. Caro Steph. Great tag. All right, go away, page. I do like the two page experience is actually really good, except when you don't fuck up the controls. Let's see. Mostly black and white pictures of Carolyn's art. The centerpiece is a series of full-color nude self-portraits at different ages, stretching from 25 to 30. They certainly have not been added to your evidence. In the intro, Carolyn talks about influences. She was one of the youngest of her generation, and in her late teens, she felt betrayed when her sister Gwendolyn... Okay. And cousin Bonnie. I don't need to keep this whole part here. I already have this here for getting back to this page. Gwendoline. Yeah, it's spelled that way. Okay. In the intro, Carolyn talks about her influences. She was one of the youngest in her generation, and in her late teens, she felt betrayed when her sister Gwendolyn and cousin Bonnie gave up on dreams to settle for boring men. She especially dislikes her brother-in-law, Dr. Wilson, who she calls completely bogus. We're getting a lot of information here. Brother-in-law, Dr. Stay open. Let's see. Wilson. Someone named Wilson. You know what? I didn't know. There. Just combine them all into one thing. It's just a list of connections we're getting. Their marriage has led her to double down on her passions, art, and environment. She even married a man who was the opposite of boring, which is an overcorrection. Okay, so this is a related thought. This is a related thought. I guess I wrote suster, like she's sus. Oop, I should add a question mark there. So I reasonably think that Dr. Wilson married Gwendolyn, since that's Carolyn's sister. That's probably what they mean by brother-in-law, because it seems to be a related thought, and not just a different, because it's a big family, so there's technically other brothers-in-laws, probably. She comes out strongly against the Roottree Company's effect on the local environment and rues how she was not able to convince her father, Zach. Wow, they're just giving us every name. This is surreal. This is just not how forthcoming this game normally is about this stuff. To make, rues how she was not able to convince her father, Zach, to make changes to policy. She also explains that her marriage to Mark led to the most volatile moments in her life, all negative, and that the only good thing that he ever gave her was a daughter. Leaving them all behind for good has pushed her to pursue her true lovers, art and the beauty of women. Father Zach. Ex-husband Mark is what I'm taking from there. So based on that, I think that Eloise might be her partner, not Stephanie's sister, because they only say a daughter. Stephanie only child? Okay, so how do you find the divorced lesbian on this family tree? You got too many kids, so it's not you. Could be you. That's a lot of divorces. And then ultimately a marriage down here. Somebody split up twice, got married, then had 2 kids. That's not how being gay works. Okay. Guardian, adopted. And then they got married. This is all for Stephanie? Okay, so this is you. This is Eloise. Mark Landon, yep. Father Zach. Morden. Zachariah Mordrin. That matches up with her name. This is Stephanie. Stephanie Landon. Carolyn, right? Carolyn Mordrin. Carolyn Mordrin is an artist. So Zachariah Mordrin gave us Carolyn Mordrin, who married Mark Landon, then remarried to Eloise, if that was possible. Gave birth to Stephanie Landon, who then married this guy. What's his name? Do we know his name? Came up elsewhere, right? In the article. Brian Jones. Which is you. Is that the one from the picture? Brian Jones. Yes, that's her. Alright, so Stephanie Lone. She's governor. No. Senator. Senator's not a result. Okay. Was she running for? I haven't even looked at all the evidence yet. I'm still focusing on this mess. City council. A councilman? What is your job? What do we call your job? Stephanie Tones. Before that, Stephanie Jones. City Council. Am I gonna have to scroll through all the options to figure out what the fuck the game calls it? City Council? I don't... What's her job? Advertising architect, baby. Baby! Production, dancer, doctor, driver, farmer, firefighter, hairdresser, housewife, interior design, manufacturing, mechanic, media mogul, military model, musician. Politics. Okay, sure. I'm like, what the fuck specific thing are we calling this? Okay, so she hasn't had a kid yet, so this is very soon gonna update. Elias, Mark Landon. These three are all right, probably, but they don't count towards anything yet. Try to find Carolyn, because I think she's of the generation that everyone's photographed in. Yes. So one of you is named Carolyn in this picture. Also, this is just a picture of Carolyn, isn't it? Does that really that makes it easy, doesn't it? Just put a picture. Oh shit, that was a third. Even this reminds me of the screen from Mark Landon, Eloise, Brian Jones. That guy's face. That guy's face. Booyah. Oh, so it does lock in. So if you add photos of people that are already locked in, it confirms them just like the way it confirms unimportant people, or like the non-blood relatives. It just gets around them during one of these and locks them in, so you know that they're no longer part of the pool. You can keep reducing them from the list. Okay, this is clean. Yeah, this screen really reminds me of parts of Obra Dinn, Return of the Obra Dinn, which is a very good game you should play. I locked in. Oh, that is Carl. Okay, so I locked in Carl, Carolyn, and Stephanie. I was right about that being the person in the middle. I can still try to find another picture of Carl, but it's not from that. And he's not related, as far as I know, to... See, that looks like the same person. I think it's because the two brothers look like the same person. Do they look like the same? They look pretty similar here, too. Those might be the same two people twice. I'm not sure. Their hair got different, obviously, but here it literally looks like the same person twice, but I know that he's literally standing next to himself, so it can't be. They're like twins. They might be twins. That makes my job harder. Thanks. All right, so at this point, we're pretty sure this guy's in the wrong spot, and this is like the only place he could go. But I would like to have more to go on there a little bit, or I just start brute force transplanting people. Maybe I just should. Because this guy would be locked in if he was right. So I hate to use that logic, but maybe I should just fucking move him already. Because we just know he's wrong. But it's going to feel really silly when I find out I'm wrong again or something. Oops. It's the wrong part of the tree. Oh, I'm thrown off by all the things being missing. So, Jane, Clark, Jessica, Katrina. Jane. Clark. Jessica. Katrina. Musician? Unless he's known for advertising. I don't know. I think the game literally jumps from baby to student then there's nothing in between. And they look like they're old enough to be students. Still not locked in though. Resetting these so I don't confuse myself later. I hope I'm not still wrong. I think he might be the son of the person that died. Are you in... I'm sorry, are you in advertising? Okay, no, not necessarily. I mean, he is in advertising though. Right? Am I crazy? What if everything was already correct over there and I just had to switch him to advertising because he's technically in advertising, but he's also technically in music. I feel like this is one of those Oberdin moments where it should just accept both options because they're both true. Like, I know that Jim doesn't see him as a musician, but like he's still doing jingles and stuff. But I guess, yeah, like the Super Bowl commercial being based on his family experience is potentially, that's potentially based on that. Was I right the first time? But like, she has 2 blonde kids. This guy's not blonde, but like people's hair color changes over time, I guess. This guy has 1 alternate photo. Neither of these people have alternate photos? What do I make of that? Does that mean that these 2 are not the same people as these 2? Gwen and the boys. Couldn't make the reunion, wishing you well from Paris, Gwen and the boys. Was she visiting her husband in Paris? Or her ex? Because he used to go to Paris all the time. That's one of the things we knew. We knew that this guy used to always go to Paris. Man, I'm not sure what to make of that. Fuck. I definitely feel like I just kind of messed everything up. Anyway, let's go back to... She could not convince her father, Zach, to make changes to policy. Was Zach a president? They don't tell us anything about Zach. But they're from the Roottree Company. They did deforestation. Zachariah Morden. Makes this person also one of these. Let's see. This is probably a daughter, and then they marry someone named Morden to make that name possible. James, Gwendolyn, and Angelica. There's a lot of those. Okay. Right, your sister, Angelica. So it's James Morden because it has to be a man. This is Gwendolyn Morden because we know it's your sister. Gwendolyn, then she married Wilson. Jem? So Jason, Steven, or Zach. That's too many Wilsons. That was just so much information in one place that I'm still catching up with how much there was. Carolyn's sister Gwendolyn, cousin Bonnie, ex-husband Mark. Most of it's filled in. They said that they gave up on their dreams to have boring husbands. It doesn't specifically say that they all became housewives. And they're supposed to have a cousin, Bonnie. They have to be all the way over here. Bonnie Hudson. Uh-oh. We don't know if Bonnie had a kid or not. But one of these is Bonnie Hudson. Do I have to move them all back? Jane, Clark, Jessica, Katrina. I think I was right the first time, and I just doubted myself too much. Jane, Clark, Jessica, Katrina. If nothing else, I just wish I could keep these, I wish I could just keep them together in like just their own notes off in the corner. And not have to deal with whether or not I'm right about where they go. Because I just want to keep this information together because I think I'm right about this part, but I just don't necessarily know where they go. Because yeah, it would be confirming otherwise. Unless it's like... Unless they're in fucking college. If it's... Okay, no. Like, I doubt it's that silly. We don't know how recent this picture is. I don't know what I'm wrong about, but I'm gonna put them back and not move them around because this is looking bad. Let's clear all this stuff out. No. Okay, good. So one of you is named Bonnie, which means that one of you is named Hudson. But we don't know... Yeah, because these are original names, so she didn't take the name Hudson. One of her parents was named Hudson, but we don't know... Mordrin. Okay, so this family was named Morden, which means that this, yeah, the family line has to be this has to be a woman that married someone named Hudson. That's the only way that... Oh no, there's two Hudsons, Christopher and Guy. Guy Hudson. Damn it. Well, they have to have married a Hudson because that's how the name changed again. Huh, this gets complicated. And also, oh my god, this video is really long. I need to cut it out now. I just need to cut it out and come back next time. See you next time. Bye. You can tell I'm just sucked into it trying to work the problem. The process of recording this is just like... It's hard to even relate it to the thought process of like having an episodic playthrough. I'm kind of just continually working at it. That's my life, although I do need to stop for the day regardless. See you guys next time. We will figure it out, especially all the stuff that I'm wrong about at some point. I promise. I've done it with every other game.